My Twitter page has the words "staunch defender of my generation" written on it. I guess it's because I grew up in an era of icons. And iconic moments. It was an era when athletes meant something, they said something, and did something. I often thought about producing a film titled Speak No Evil. This film would talk about the modern day athlete who seems to be more concerned with self-promotion, more concerned with ego gratification. And on the occasions when they did speak, they didn't say anything. And then there was athletes who had a global form and seemed to use that form to take more than they did to give. A few weeks ago, I wrote a piece on how the social media sullied the memory of Nelson Mandela with stories of selfies and handshakes and translators, all of which had nothing to do with this great man's legacy. And now in a day where we should be celebrating the life of a man who gave his life, who took a bullet for a cause greater than himself. We defend who? We defend what? The power and the glory of the Seahawks' Richard Sherman. Really? Really? There are 7 billion people on this planet, but only 64 of them can claim the title of a starting quarterback for a National Football League team. I have been watching Hall of Fame caliber cornerback play for over 30 years. And yet, in 3 short years, Richard Sherman has elevated himself to an elite level. In short, there is no doubt about his skills. And furthermore, give him credit. Richard Kevin Sherman was a 5th-round draft pick with a pre-draft profile that had journeyman and backup written all over it. But his passion, his desire, elevated him to an elite status, elevated him to an all-pro defender, all-league defender, all-world defender. And yet, when we talk about the word defender, what are we defending when we defend Richard Sherman? Were we defending his right to free speech? Were we defending his manhood? Were we defending his right to earn a living? The answer to all those questions has to be no. Were we then, as some suggest, defending Richard Sherman against the moniker of being a thug? Well, if so, perhaps that Stanford grad should ask the President of the United States what it feels like to be called that and more on a daily basis. And then let's move on. So, what really happened here? Well, when you put a microphone and a camera in the face of a high-strung, volatile, and emotional athlete, moments after the biggest game of his life, where he just engaged in hand-to-hand combat with his team's most hated rival, and, in his mind, just got dissed by a player whom he considered an inferior opponent, this is what you get.
The final play, take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Now, I told you at the beginning, I'm a defender of my generation. So, Richard Sherman may have shook up the 49ers, he may have shook up Aaron Andrews, and certainly he shook up the blogosphere. But I remember a man from my generation who shook up the world.
I don't have a mark on my face, and I upset Sonny Lisbon, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world, I talk to God every day. If God's with me, ain't nobody be against me. I shook up the world. 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 You must listen to me.